switching gears a little bit, did you hear about this fake AI generated book list that was published in the Chicago Sun-Times?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's all I've been thinking about for the whole week. So it's just like a very wild story to me. Basically, some newspapers, like print newspapers, including the Chicago Sun-Times and at least one edition of the Philadelphia Inquirer, published a syndicated summer book list that was like obviously AI generated, that included fake books, like made up books by famous authors. So it said that Percival Everett, who won the Pulitzer this year for fiction, was coming out with a book called The Rainmakers that was supposedly set in, quote, the near future American West, where artificially induced rain has become a luxury commodity. Bullshit, that book doesn't exist. He did not publish that book.
Oh my God.
They said that Chilean author Isabel Allende was putting out a book called Tidewater Dreams. And they described it as the first climate fiction novel.
The first.
Yeah,
sure.
The very first.
Mm-hmm.
These are not real books. In
Octavia
fact,
Butler would beg to differ.
She would beg to differ. In fact, of the 15 books on this like must-read 2025 summer fiction list, only 5 of the books were real. The rest of them were all made up.
Yo, so they straight up outsourced their reading list to AI and thought no one would notice?
Yes, and they're it would be bad enough if this was just like an online thing. This was in their print edition. Like people got pictures of themselves holding the print edition of this. So like, how did this come to be? I saw on Blue Sky that the Chicago Sun-Times, somebody who worked there was like, we're looking into how this got published, which that also raises questions of like, you don't know how this got published. Very good question. Like, definitely worth looking into. So it gets a little stickier. According to Victor Lim, the marketing director of the Chicago Sun-Times parent company, Chicago Public Media, the list was part of licensed content provided by King Features, a unit of the publisher Hearst Newspapers. According to NPR, even though the piece has no byline, a writer did claim responsibility for it and did say that it was generated by AI, obviously. He says, huge mistake on my part and has nothing to do with the Sun-Times. They trust the content that they purchased from me is accurate and I betrayed that trust. It is on me 100%. So, yeah. And I guess like...
I love that. I like reading a little bit more of this guy, the freelancer. Says that while he does sometimes use AI to create content, he typically checks it before submitting it. So you typically check it.
When I can.
Yo, Bridget, like I used to write when I lived in Argentina years and years and years ago. Not really, but like 10 years ago. Like one of the things that there was like a freelance gig was farmed out was just like writing travel guides for some online site about cities I had never been to. But I did my research and looked at other guides and looked at the city explanations and just kind of like, I didn't plagiarize, but I wrote my own after reading a bunch of other guides version for this guide. Now, that is very much like that job right there, which maybe, I don't know, how much did I get? $100, is definitely being farmed out to AI as we speak. But like, I love the idea that like, if I had that job now, my lazy ass couldn't even do my own fucking research on a fucking listicle of books. And ironically, they're books. You have to read. You don't even have to read the book, but you gotta read the title. You just go to the books that have been released in 2025. Just go to publishers. I don't follow books, but like, I don't know, Penguin Random House. Like, it's so wild to me that someone, and look, if he came clean and was like, listen, I got $50 to do this article, fuck the Sun-Times, I'm with him. But come on, my guy. How many people in Memphis can't breathe because you had to do this generative AI? For how much fresh water was used so we could create a fake Isabel Allende book?
And that's, I mean, the commentary around that pretty much said exactly that. Kelly Jensen, who is a former librarian and the editor of Book Riot, had a very good point. She said, this is the future of book recommendations. When libraries are defunded and dismantled, trained professionals are removed in exchange for made up, inaccurate garbage. And it's just like what you were saying. Like, you couldn't even scroll Amazon and be like, well, I haven't read this book, but it's a book. You could buy it. It exists.
Exactly. It's real. Like, what was the prompt too? Like, AI is also bad. You know what I'm saying? AI is not actually good at it. And that's even if it were good. And in some cases it is, I still contest fuck AI. And I just, again, I don't know, like, especially as writers, because what you're doing is you're actively undermining your goddamn job. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts because as I came from AJ Plus, of Al Jazeera Media, and they were like, we were doing spearheading a lot of this like short form content, text on screen over images, right? That was like Now This News, and AJ Plus were really big on Facebook. Now all of that stuff is just AI. I think
Yeah.
I believe it can generate like a couple of images from a story, text on screen, and then done. So it's not like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have created the Terminator, or the T-1000, but like there is a little bit of like, well, what happens when, like, with the, I don't know, the sort of shorthand and shitification of content and news in general. I'm having a little bit of a existential moment here.
Yeah, I mean, I wish so deeply I could say I've never used AI, but I have been known to use ChatGPT if I have to write a rough email, like an email where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to write this, or like this is I don't know what to say, like a like an email where I have to convey a complicated set of feelings, and
Okay,
it's
Bridget.
it's
Complicated feelings left to AI.
I know. I feel like that's probably the worst
So
use case.
tell me you're talking about a breakup without telling me you're talking about a breakup.
Yeah, it honestly it will help you if you're dreading writing a breakup email. It can help you. I'll put it that way. But I will say, like, having a big think about it, I had a similar existential like spin out about this because I was like, don't I owe the people who are like actually in my life the time to sit down and like put my thoughts together? And even if it's hard, even if it's cathartic, even if it's difficult, don't I owe them, me, the human, actually sitting down and like writing out how I feel before I send it, as opposed to just like asking Chat GPT to do it for me?
Yes.
I really had a like deep, I don't want to say crisis, but like, and I think when I hear people like Mark Zuckerberg talking about the future of friendship, how, Facebook, he admits, is like no longer for friends. In the future, we'll all have AI friends on Facebook, and that's who we'll talk to. It's like, that's not a future that I want. Even when human to human connection is difficult or hard or emotional, that's the point of being alive. Like, I don't want to outsource that. I don't want my friend to be AI that never
but
like.
also, that is the point when you are an unzuckable little shit, and you like got into tech starting to rank chicks rather than talk to them in their face. That's what happens. I mean, again, we're just creating all, like, the word tech bro's been around forever, and it is a smarmy kid that cannot make eye contact with anybody, but also makes more money than you'll ever see in your life and dresses like shit.
Yeah, and are these the people we want to take our cues for the future of friendship from? Like, do you want someone like Mark Zuckerberg in charge of using technology to design the future of what friendship will look like in your life? I would argue no. I would argue that, again, that iteration of the future is worse than the one that came before it.